Hi, Kirsten.
Good morning and welcome to our virtual Veterans Day Assembly. In years past, Liberty Union Middle School has honored our veterans by conducting an assembly followed by lunch with a veteran. This year, things may feel a little differently, but letting the Veterans Day holiday pass without devoting some time to honor those who selflessly served our country just wouldn't do. Thank you for joining us. Now, before we get to our special guest, I would like to take a moment to personally thank each and every veteran that's watching this live stream. Thank you for serving this great nation of ours and for protecting the freedoms that we all enjoy. Now, at this time, I'd like to introduce our special guest, Sergeant First Class Retired Donald Francisco. I'll read a quick biography. Donald Francisco is a New Orleans, Louisiana native. He graduated from St. Augustine High School in May of 1983 and went to the U.S. Army that summer. He graduated from the Armed Forces School of Music in Norfolk, Virginia. He served with the 5th Infantry Division Band in Fort Polk, Louisiana, the 8th U.S. Army Band in Seoul, South Korea, and retired from active duty with the United States Army Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, Joint Base Myer-Henderson Hall, formerly known as Fort Myer, Virginia, was his last duty assignment. He also traveled extensively, performing nationally and internationally. His total length of service was 30 years. And while on active duty, he attended Northern Virginia Community College, Washington Bible College, University of Maryland, NSU of Southern Louisiana, and George Mason University, pursuing studies in music, education, public relations, and American history. He performs gospel, classical, colonial, jazz, folk, and a few standards on various flutes, fifes, penny whistles, and panpipes. He is currently the resident fifer at George Washington's Mount Vernon Estate and Gardens, where he talks about the importance of music in the American Revolution, from critical communication to enjoyable entertainment. He also freelances at schools, assisted living centers, and nursing homes. He actively ministers in music at his home church, International Calvary Church in Springfield, Virginia. Good morning, Sergeant First Class Retired Francisco. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Keith Robinson. How are you all, sir?
We are doing well here in sunny Ohio.
Great. O-H-I-O.
I-O, yes, definitely. So to begin our assembly, to begin our talk, could you kind of tell us about the branch of military that you served in?
Yes, sir. I served in the United States Army, which is separate from the Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, Coast Guard, and most recently, the United States Space Force, our latest branch of the armed forces.
Okay, so what about your rank? You were Sergeant First Class. Can you talk to us a little bit about what it means to be a Sergeant First Class and to kind of differentiate those different ranks for us?
Sure, I'll be glad to, Mr. Robinson, sir. So there's the nickname the Buck Sergeant. That would be an E5, just like you have first, second, third grades, eighth grade now. Well, there's different grades of sergeants and leadership. So the E5 is a Buck Sergeant. E6 is a Staff Sergeant. I'm in E7, a Sergeant First Class. Then we also have the First Sergeant and E8, and a Command Sergeant Major or Sergeant Major, E9. And these different grades have different levels of responsibility, from the number of people you will be responsible for to the additional duties you will be responsible for. We all are soldiers. We all have certain responsibilities, but as you get promoted and grow in the military, you get additional duties, which are not always related to your primary job. For example, as a Sergeant First Class, even though I was a soldier musician playing in lots of ceremonies, one of my tough duties was actually called casualty notification duty. As our soldiers were at war, some of us were responsible for notifying the next of kin, sadly, in case there's a fallen soldier. So We're a band of brothers and sisters. I work with some awesome, outstanding men and women of the armed forces.
Thank you. I'd like to take a minute, and we're going to take our first student question. Kylie Bibler would like to know what was more difficult, the basic training itself, or when you were at basic training, missing some of those people from home. Which one of those was would you feel was more difficult, and why?
Well, thanks. That's a great question. The basic training was definitely more difficult. I knew my folks, I knew my parents loved me. I was 17 years old when I joined the Army, uh, just graduated from high school. Uh, wow, it's kind of an emotional question. So, yes, I was a little homesick, but dealing with a whole bunch of strangers, going through this tough time together, staying up overnight doing these road marches. The first time I had flown on an airplane was when I joined the Army. But just some of the additional things, learning a whole bunch of things all at once, the transition from civilian to military life, that was definitely challenging, but well worth it.
Thank you. We all really appreciate your service.
Oh, honored to serve. I appreciate you all's support. Thank you very much.
You bet. So can you tell us a little bit about the Old Guard? I know you were a member of the Old Guard. One of the questions that students had for me was, did you guard the tomb of the unknown soldier at National Arlington Cemetery? So can you talk a little bit about the Old Guard and the tomb of the unknown soldier?
Sure, I'll be glad to. The Old Guard's official name is the 3rd United States Infantry Regiment. Military units can have a nickname. Um, so the Old Guard got its nickname from General Winfield Scott. And that's a neat little story that Mr. Keith Robinson can tell you about. So our job is, it consists of several things, from duties at the Capitol, the Pentagon, the White House, and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. And I want to specifically answer your question about the Tomb of the Unknown, because I did not qualify to do that because of my height. I wasn't tall enough. Guess what? That's a height requirement. They prefer you to be between 5'10" and 6'2", and even a certain cut and waist, like 32, 34 inches. So you have this mean, lean fighting machine look. I mean, it's about dress and appearance, and it's intense training. Now, I've worked with some of those soldiers. Uh, I've done some great joint training with them. However, uh, I did not do the Too Many Unknown. I have great, awesome love and respect for them.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
So now we're going to turn to your current role at the home of America's original commander in chief. Can you
Right.
kind of tell us a little bit about what you do at George Washington's Mount Vernon?
Sure, I'll be glad to. Matter of fact, I want to kind of, as I'm talking to you, I want to kind of take you on a walking tour, and I hope this works out well because I like to really bring it alive to you, make it virtual for you. So I'm walking outside of into the 18th century. I'm crossing this line from the 21st century, and Mr. Robinson has done this. We're going to cross this timeline. I'm going to walk out, and you're going to check out the river view. So I came to Mount Vernon as a history interpreter. That would be talking about the life of the 18th century, and then I asked about applying and using the music skills I was blessed with. So I do a combination of talking about General Washington, Mrs. Washington, uh, interesting, fun little trivia facts. How, like, they got married on the 12th day of Christmas, January the 6th, Three Kings Day, Epiphany Day in 1759. Uh, and I also incorporate music into the history. The fife. So as a resident fifer, I would play commands on the battlefield. I would let them know how fast and much, how slow to march. So we have gatherings here at Mount Vernon, reenactments. It's really cool. It's really fun. Mr. Robinson, you know I miss the students. Uh, I just love it when we get our students here to make it come alive to you. So I'm coming upon a house right now, and I'm sure you'll recognize this site. Uh,
I miss it. It's been over a year since I've been there. Can't wait to get back.
yeah, we can't wait to have you back. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to your teacher, students, Mr. Keith Robinson. If I were a student, I would want him to be my teacher. He is awesome. He is the man. So you have a great teacher, Mr. Robinson. Can you see Mount Vernon in the background now?
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's the house of our first president and our Commander-in-Chief George Washington. A very special place. Um, yeah, and hard to put it into words. All right, so that's one of the things I do. I take students on tours through the house, and we talk about relative history, making it real. Another question, please.
Yeah. So there's a long history of military members in your family.
Yes.
Can you tell us about the Sons of the American Revolution and your ancestor, Jean-Pierre Norman?
Oh, I'll be glad to. Thanks for asking that. And this was neat how this happened. My great five greats, that is. Um, he was in the Revolutionary War with the German Coast Militia. And Louisiana, even though it wasn't a state, there were some things going on between the French and the Spanish and the English and all that that was getting that would affect the revolution. French of French descent, but he would be given some land and he would settle in Louisiana, the only state with parishes. He's in Avoyelles Parish. So that's my very special connection. And when I go home, I plan on visiting his gravesite and laying a wreath there. And I really found that out totally by accident. The neat part is it kind of brings us together working here at Mount Vernon, being in the military and the General Washington and serving in the old guard. So it's call it the trifecta. I couldn't have planned it. And and by the way, I wanted to just show you the river view here at Mount Vernon. This is the beautiful Potomac River, and it's quite the sight. You're looking at Maryland. So I'm standing in Virginia, but you are looking across the river at the state of Maryland. The Potomac River borders them. So back to history interpreter, I would, when I'm giving this tour, I would talk about that river there is like a gateway, an interstate. You can go 100 miles down the Potomac into the Chesapeake Bay, 100 miles down through the Chesapeake Bay into the Atlantic Ocean. So you can literally sail from here to England, France, Spain, Portugal, and all. Um, yeah, so yeah, I try not to go off on these tangents, but it's just so amazing. The history comes alive, and Mr. Robinson can relate to me. I mean, we've had some great conversations.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, you're standing right at the piazza, correct?
Correct, you are correct, and I have some awesome colleagues that I've missed working with. It's great to see them here. Lovely lady Ellen, lovely lady Marie. We're live streaming, Ohio. So yeah, I work with some beautiful people. That's another thing about working here at Mount Vernon. Very amazing, awesome, diverse group of veterans, civilians, educators, principals, teachers, all coming together to bring the history alive and help our young ones to grow to love, learn, and respect our country. Next
Uh,
question.
yeah. So when we're thinking about the military, that piazza
Yeah.
itself, there have been some pretty important military leaders that have stood on that piazza.
Oh yes, yes. I'm going to give you a better view of the piazza now. Yes. Um, yes, President Kennedy came here. Uh, and many other leaders, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Trump, and many others. Matter of fact, if the young ones watch the movie, the Nicolas Cage Book of Treasures, National Treasure, they might recognize this backyard. The birthday for Mr. President took place right here. I don't know how many of them saw that.
Didn't President Washington and the Marquis de Lafayette, didn't they have a little meeting out there on the piazza as well?
They surely did. And when they come to here, they can see a gift that the Marquis de Lafayette, our favorite fighting French immigrant,
Yes.
General Washington. The key to the Bastille is right in the house, in the central passage. So I just can't wait till we can get back to normal when you all can come out here. And all. What else, Mr. Robinson, sir?
So at this moment, I'm going to, hopefully you can see this. I'm going to present an image. Mr. Francisco, can you see this?
Yes, sir, I can see it. Yes. Okay, that's it. Is that Amber in the center there, the young drummer?
Yep. So this is some LU students at Mount Vernon a few years ago. I hope everyone that's watching the live stream can see this.
I hope they can. That was a special moment. I remember that very well. Are they able to see it?
Yeah, here we go. Now they can see it.
Okay, great.
So Here's another instance of you with some LU students.
Yes. Go LU. Awesome. Dropping the beat. This is one of my favorites. The flags, General Washington's flag, the Commander-in-Chief's flag, the Yorktown flag, not to be mixed up with the British flag. It's called the Grand Union. We have the Betsy Ross flag. So Jay Leno came to Mount Vernon, and he was very down to earth, very, just a great guy. He even dropped a couple of beats on my drum, and he was just saying peace out. He, a really nice guy, very down to earth. And once again, the students, I love you guys. You all encourage and inspire me. You know, that's what's neat about teaching. I still keep in touch with one of my elementary school teachers, and you know, so I love teaching and learning. The little guy playing the part of General Washington just came here on a field trip. He loved Washington, so we got together and posed for a nice little photo. And then we have a British drummer, and I'm the American fifer. Now, my red coat is not to be mixed up with the British red coat. The infantry wore the blue. The fifers and drummers, the continental musicians, wore the opposite colors. It's not to be um, confused. We were non-combatants. They were not supposed to shoot us. We were the messengers. Don't shoot the messengers, okay? We were actually younger boys. Ask Mr. Robinson about the fifes and drums of the Revolutionary War. John Greenwood, I'll give him some homework. Google John Greenwood, Revolutionary War fifer. It's one of my favorites. He's in a cool book by David McCullough,
Yeah,
1770.
1776, a phenomenal read.
Yes, awesome. All right, there we have some neat photos. This is kind of a bookend, a tag team photo. Can you all see the one at the White House? That's Queen Elizabeth, and I'm on the end there, closest to the White House, and that's my drum major, President George Walker Bush. So we're playing for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and then I retire. Uh, and then Prince Charles, her son, and Duchess Camilla comes to Mount Vernon, and I got to play God Save the Queen for him, and that was very special. So it's a little serendipitous rendezvous. This one actually wasn't planned. The one with the Queen was planned, but this one just happened. So one thing in the military that I like, they teach us about: be prepared and then be spontaneous, adapt, adjust, and overcome. Of course, I was definitely nervous playing for the Prince. But we do some intense training in the military, honestly, standing still for hours, mentally, physically, spiritually, socially. It really, psychological training, it really helps. Okay, so Prime Minister or President of India, can't remember the exact name and title, lots of different leaders. Uh, and then we have Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, who came to honor General Washington. And that was really neat. You notice he's wearing regular clothes, by the way. He's not all dressed up fancy. It was a very down to earth trip. It was a low key trip. He actually drove a golf cart. He just wanted to chill out. And lots of respect for that. Really awesome. Okay, got to have fun. May the force be with you, stormtroopers. Okay, just for the record, that was one of these type apps where you can make it virtual. No stormtroopers actually came to Mount Vernon. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I just have to put that as a disclaimer so it doesn't give anyone ideas to show up at Mount Vernon as Darth Vader. Unless you show up for our Halloween bash, we did have something like that last month. Okay, what else? We have a little boy playing the part of a fifer, and all of a sudden Elvis showed up and dropped a couple of tunes. So the gentleman I'm shaking hands with, his name is Tyler Mayo, and he really encouraged and inspired me right from the get go. Uh, I'm brand new in the army, and he takes me under his wings, and he basically says, "You're going to do okay. You're going to do well. Stick with it." So he had more confidence in me than I had in myself, and that's how I feel about teachers. From Mr. Robinson to your principal, who I understand was Mr. Robinson's teacher. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, he was.
So that's awesome. I think that's a beautiful thing. So pass
Uh,
it on
Mr.
to the
Turner.
students. The students take note of that. um, so that's the neat thing about we need each other. We're a team. So I still keep in touch with this gentleman. And the picture with the colonials. Now you see the blue coat infantry, and a red coat fifer. That's a cool song, by the way. You can Google it, YouTube it, red coat fifer and the drummer. And we're the messengers. We're playing commands. We're about to march. We can play ceasefire, advance, reveille, water call, wood call, church call. So we were communication. I like to tell the students, think of it this way. The fifers and the drummers were the text, tweets, and instant messengers of the colonial era, the Revolutionary War. My military coins, and I was happy to present and give one of these to your outstanding teacher, Mr. Keith Robinson. You have my military unit there, the Old Guard Fife and Drum Corps, the escort to the president. And then you see some of my favorite Bible verses. I'm a fighter of faith, family, and fun. You'll see the units I served with, the 5th Infantry Division, 8th Army Band, and the Old Guard, and my years of service from 1983 to 2013. And once again, I couldn't do that without the help and support of all my fellow soldiers. So it's not so much about me, it's about us. I'm really about team. I'm a team player. And this is a certificate for being in the Sons of the American Revolution. What an honor to be able to work at Mount Vernon and trace my lineage back to the Revolutionary War. It's really like a dream come true. It exceeded my expectations. How much more time do we have, sir? Any more questions? What do you want to do?
So you don't by chance have a fife with you, do you?
I can get a fife. Yeah, let me walk over here. Good.
Do you think you would be able to play the Liberty Union fight song, which just so happens to be the Ohio State Buckeyes fight song?
OHIO. Ohio. All right, I'm going to go get that fife right now. We got a minute.
We do, sir. We got about 4 minutes left.
Great. This is perfect timing.
You can get some PT in on the way there.
Oh, yeah. Left, you're right, you're left. All righty. Almost there. Don't worry, when they come out here, Liberty, I got a little something for you. We're going to do some push-ups, sit-ups. We're going to get it all.
Yes.
All righty. Let me go to the bat cave here. We're getting it. Too many things.
Thank you so much, sir. I kind of sprung this one on you.
No, that's cool. I like the little surprises. Got a few different options. So this is a round trip. What's the clock like?
Got about 3 more minutes. We're okay, sir.
All right. Great. Get my little badge in. But I want to thank you all for inviting me to do this. I really enjoy sharing the knowledge and teaching it forward, paying it forward.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with us today.
Not a problem. Win-win.
Yes, a win-win.
You never know. Some of these young students may grow up to do some pretty cool things. All right, here I am. Sorry.
No, I appreciate you doing that for us.
So you see the office here. So choose a fife, and I'm going to go downstairs and play something. I got the fife.
The most important thing.
All righty. Some lights on in here. All righty. All right. We're good to go. Just standing up now.
We're good to go, sir.
All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play. No, let me get the right one. Too many songs in my head. Let me make sure I play the right one. Rah, rah, rah. Go Liberty Union.
Thank you so much. We're about out of time, but I want to thank you, Sergeant First Class retired Donald Francisco, for joining us. I want to thank you for your service there at Mount Vernon, and I want to thank you for your service to our great country, and to all the veterans that are watching. We want to just extend our thank you to protecting those freedoms that we all hold so dear.
All right. I salute you, Liberty Union. Thank you, Mr. Keith Robinson, and the entire staff, faculty, student body.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Peace.
Have a great day.
You also. Bye-bye.